It is the weekend time Israel briefers, which means it is almost time for me to sign off for the week. But before we do that, we're going to take a look at those top stories making headlines right here on the Israel Brief with me, Rolene Marks, in partnership with these guys, Lay of the Land. As you know, we take a look at those top stories making headlines in Israel. We do it every Monday to Thursday. Wartime, peacetime, it doesn't matter. We have you covered. Today is day 412 since the atrocities of the 7th of October. And we are appealing to all of you, please do not let the world forget about what happened that day, and not to forget that it was Hamas with their genocidal intentions that invaded southern Israel on that Black Sabbath, murdering over 1,200 people, torturing, raping, and of course taking captive over 251, of which 101 still remain hostage. The oldest is 86, the youngest is nearly 2 years old. So without further ado, let's take a look at the top stories. And just a short while ago, the International Criminal Court's chief prosecutor announced the issuing of arrest warrants for Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and former Defense Minister Yoav Gallant on charges of war crimes. Now, the court also issued a warrant of arrest for Mohammed Deif, which is going to be a little difficult, and they might need a Ouija board, maybe some mood music, because Mohammed Deif is dead. He was eliminated in July by the IDF. Now, Israel challenged the ICC's jurisdiction over our country and their ability to bring these charges and issue arrest warrants. And the court said they reject Israel's challenge to jurisdiction. Now, just as an aside, if the ICC can bring criminal charges against Israel's leaders, it doesn't mean they stop at Israel. They can also charge the leaders of other countries. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out. Now, earlier in the week, the incoming Senate Majority Leader for the new Trump administration, Senator John Thune, threatened the ICC with sanctions should they go ahead and issue these arrest warrants. He said to Jews and to Israel, don't worry, the cavalry, basically, I forget the exact word he used, but the reinforcements, he said the reinforcements are coming. So I don't think the incoming administration is going to take this lying down. So this is going to be one that we will be watching. Now, Israel's government leaders and opposition leaders have condemned this decision by the ICC. National Unity Chairperson Benny Gantz a short while ago called it moral blindness and a historic disgrace that will be remembered for all time. I'm going to read to you the statement from President Isaac Herzog. He says, "This is a dark day for justice, a dark day for humanity. Taken in bad faith, the outrageous decision at the ICC has turned universal justice into a universal laughingstock. It makes a mockery of the sacrifice of all those who fight for injustice, from the Allied victory over the Nazis until today. It ignores the plight of the 101 Israeli hostages held in brutal captivity by Hamas in Gaza. It ignores Hamas's cynical use of its own people as human shields. It ignores the basic fact that Israel was barbarically attacked and has the duty and right to defend its people. It ignores the fact that Israel is a vibrant democracy acting under international humanitarian law and going to great lengths to provide for the humanitarian needs of the civilian population. Indeed, the decision has chosen the side of terror and evil over democracy and freedom and turned the very system of justice into a human shield for Hamas's crimes against humanity. This cynical exploitation of the international legal institutions reminds us once again of the need for true moral clarity in the face of an Iranian empire of evil that seeks to destabilize our region and the world and destroy the very institutions of the free world. And I'm going to reiterate what I said before and what the president has inferred. It does not stop with Israel. This could filter out to other democratic countries. Last night, the United States vetoed a UN Security Council resolution calling for the immediate ceasefire in Gaza. Now, the reason that the US has vetoed this is because the UNSC resolution did not tie an unconditional ceasefire to the immediate release of the hostages, something that the ambassador, Robert Hood, speaking to the plenary, said they cannot support a resolution that is not linked empirically to the immediate release of the hostages. What is surprising is that the United Kingdom voted in favor of this. They say in order to bring an immediate halt to hostilities, but they forget that a British national, Emily Damari, is still held captive by Hamas, and we know what Hamas is doing to our female captives. Yesterday was the International Day of the Child, and the physicians working closely with the hostages and missing persons forums issued a report on what they believe could be the medical challenges faced by the two remaining child hostages, including a massive, debilitating developmental issue, including respiratory issues, failures to make milestones, seeing only aggression surrounding them, maybe acting out against the aggression, maybe acting out to please their captives, also severe malnutrition and the ability to develop in terms of speech, social abilities. We don't know if Kfir and Ariel Bibas are still alive. We don't know where they are. We don't know if they are still with their mother. The physicians also released data on some of the health impact on the children of hostages and hostage children who were released, and this includes night terrors, anxiety, depression, loss of faith in adults who they feel failed to protect them, an inability to adapt to a change in families. Many of these children lost a parent or both parents or grandparents, family members, friends, teachers, and are facing a severe impact on that. I know that one of the hostage mothers that I had the privilege of meeting just a couple of months ago spoke about how her son, who was held captive on his own and was forced to watch the video footage of the Hamas attacks by his captors or be shot in the head, he was forced to do this at gunpoint, said that he doesn't want to go to sleep at night and his hair is falling out in clumps. We forget the impact that this war has had, not just on our children that are still held captive, but also on the children who have been returned to their families, and for all of Israel's children who are facing severe PTSD. And finally, in some good news before I get to the mention, the moron of the day and the audience question, is New Zealand have formally designated Hezbollah in its entirety as a terrorist organization. New Zealand become the 30th country to do so. They have also designated the Yemen Houthi rebels as a terror organization, and Israel's Foreign Minister Gideon Saar took to Twitter and praised the decision by New Zealand. And finally, because this has been a very, very serious broadcast, and you can see with all the news coming in about the ICC arrest warrants, there is a lot happening. Let's take a look at the audience question, which comes from Renee in Israel, which is so apt. Renee asks, what do you think the world does not understand about our war here? And to me, our broadcast today answers your question, Renee, your very, very important question. I don't think the world understands that Israel is the vanguard in the fight between good and evil, in the fight of Western free democracies versus a medieval barbaric theocracy. I don't think many around the world understand that Hamas, this terror entity that they all support, whose propaganda they swallow and believe, would do the same to them that they did to us on the 7th of October. They have clearly stated first the Saturday people and then the Sunday people. And to me, and I know many of you out there are religious, spiritual people, to me this is almost Armageddon being fought not in the way that we expected, because we are seeing a battle between the sons of light and the sons of dark. And I would be interested to hear your feedback, your comments about that. As you can hear, the neighborhood dog has a lot to say on it as well. So now for the mentioned moron of the week. And first we will do the moron. And the moron, and I 100% agree with this recommendation, is Senator Bernie Sanders, who brought forth a resolution to the House last night in the United States to completely withhold U.S. military support and funding for the State of Israel. In his presentation, he held up what he called a starving Palestinian child by the name of Fadi. Fadi, by the way, suffers from cystic fibrosis, and thanks to our IDF and our COGAT unit within the IDF, was evacuated from Gaza and flown to the United States, where he is undergoing treatment. And Sanders also accused Israel of cutting electricity to Gaza, which makes it very difficult for the amount of tweeting, broadcasting, and everything that we see coming from the Gaza Strip, and also negates the fact that Israel has put Gaza back on our electrical grid. So you are the moron of the week, Senator Sanders. And we have two mentions of the week. The first mention is the incredible Douglas Murray. Douglas Murray, who is just an absolute phenomenon. If you haven't heard him speak, if you haven't read his books or read his writing, I urge you to do so. He is single-handedly fighting the propaganda that our enemies are putting out in the most elegant and articulate way. A true mensch, and we adore him here in Israel. And the second mensch is the former hostage Moran Stella Yanai. Some of you might have seen the footage of Moran, who was on a panel with the leader of one of the encampments, this one from UCLA, and he couldn't look her in the eye. He actually couldn't look her in the eye. And she said to him, I'm asking you to listen to me. Look at me and listen to me. I'm asking you to look at the facts from both sides. She said, even in my captivity, when I was treated so barbarically, I never treated anybody with disrespect, because the people that I was with, we were all people who wanted peace. She said, you support Hamas, but you don't realize that there's no women's rights under Hamas. There are no human rights under Hamas. And she said so profoundly, she said, I can speak about America because I've been here. Have you been to Gaza or Israel? I don't think that you have. And it was quite something to see his whole body language. He couldn't bring himself to actually acknowledge that she was sitting in front of him. And she handled it with the dignity and the grace of an absolute lioness. So thank you guys for putting forward your nominations. My vocabulary has completely left me today. I need a good rest. And before we head into the weekend, don't forget to check out our website at www.layoftheland.online, our Facebook page at Lottel's site. We are not getting the coverage from Facebook for the articles we put out, so we really encourage you to go there and have a look. Our YouTube channel is right here on the Israel Brief. We're on X at Lay of the Land 5, LinkedIn at Rolene Marks, and Instagram at Rolene_Mark. So guys, Shabbat Shalom. Have a wonderful weekend. Much love to you all. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And I will see you again on Monday. Bye for now.